What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is day 91 of the ALPAT. Today we left out of the Dutch Harbor area and we went over to the west side of McCushion Island and we hung out in McCushion Bay. Stunning views all around. You could get a good view of McCushion Volcano. That's the tallest mountain on the island here. I had watch early like normal. Obviously, if you are following along, today is New Year's Eve. So there were a lot of celebrations on the mess deck throughout much of the day. In the evening, right at sunset, we had two advancement ceremonies for personnel. One fellow advanced to first class petty officer and one lady advanced to second class petty officer. So those were great. We were able to be out there for those. After the advancements, after each one, they were done separately, we had permission from the local sector command center to launch some flares. And so we launched some red flares off the back of the ship, multiple different kinds. Being honest, the reason we did that was a New Year's celebration and an advancement celebration. But as with most things we do, there is a training aspect to it. I can take OSs out on the flight deck and we can learn how to use the fist method or the coffee cup method for determining how high a flare is on the horizon and how far away that flare is. We can take personnel who have never launched a flare and we can show them how to launch a flare in the event of a shipborne emergency. Hopefully we never have to launch a flare, but that is definitely something that we need to know how to do. And so we can take them out there and teach them those things. Same thing. We can teach people what a red flare actually looks like compared to an orange or a pink or something like that, so that you know the difference when that's being reported, because different flares mean different things. A red flare or an orange flare is a distress signal. Something other than that is not a distress signal. So you need to be able to differentiate. Realistically, you're not going to differentiate between a red and a pink or something like that. You're going to call it red and it's going to be distress, but it's good to see what the color of a flare is when it's actually in the sky versus just this conceptual thing. I turned in early, which obviously means I'm recording this later, but I turned in early that night. I had watch the next morning. You know, watch times don't change based on New Year's. So I didn't stay awake to see any of the celebrations on AFN or whatever. Obviously, by the time I went to sleep, it was already New Year's on the East Coast and even probably in the Central Time. I can't remember exactly what time I went to sleep, probably around 10. So it was definitely midnight in most of the U.S. You know, most family had already celebrated New Year's, but I made the decision to just go ahead and go to sleep so I could be awake and fresh for watch the next morning. That wraps it up for today. I thank you for listening. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.